Oh, and good morning. Hope everybody had a great weekend. Boy, politically, what a weekend, huh? If you follow that kind of stuff, you're going, here we go. Be a wild few months. And the weather. If you lived up in Peoria, you got spanked pretty hard yesterday afternoon. That weather was intense. This time of year, when the monsoons roll in, you can see it start to build up around the mountains and around the edges of the valley. Then you just wait for it. And I keep looking at my phone app and looking at the radar, and I think, okay, here it comes. Here it comes. It's coming right at me. You see that red and that orange and then white, which is lightning. And then it splits. You're looking out the window. Here it comes. Here it comes. It goes away. Not for those of you in Peoria, though. And I saw a video on Lake Pleasant, and it had white caps on the lake and boats getting slapped around. So hope everybody was safe as those storms come rolling through. So we'll see what tonight brings, but it doesn't look like it's going to be as stormy as yesterday. We shall see. In Prescott, those of you living up in Prescott, like Biscuit, are seeing a lot of wild weather up there too. It's that time of year. So anyway, let's get to the subject at hand. The headline is let me show you since I can't read it. New U.S. homes are now cheaper by the foot than existing ones. Who'da thunk? Now, in this article, goes on to say that new homes nationally sold for $3.50 less per foot. But you get down to the graph here, and it shows you indeed that Phoenix is about $30 per square. I had it. Where'd it go? Let me go right here. $30.90 per square foot. And we're going to compare that with some of the numbers I see. And it says new construction homes commanded a serious premium before the pandemic, from $15 to $22 more per square foot than existing homes, but now they represent a relative value. Buyers of new homes got a $3.50 discount per square foot in May compared to those purchasing existing homes. That's the biggest discount in Zillow's median sales price data. Stretches all the way back to 2018. Now, those of you in Seattle, you're not doing as well. Seattle, probably because they're running out of room to build up there. In San Jose, the price per square foot is $216 worse. Can I link the article? Yeah, let me see if I can do that. I'll put it up after this stream ends, and it'll show up in the description. That's the best way for me to do that. Wait, let me do it this way. Since we're live, copy. I'll put it right here in the chat. There you go, folks. Seattle, you're sitting there at $71 a square foot is more expensive for new homes. So now let's look at our local market and see if the Zillow numbers match what we see in our local MLS. And as we get down here and we look, here's transaction type, average price per square foot, normal sale, $293, new build, $275. Get over here, year to date, normal sale, $289. New build, $254. That's over $30. So they are right. Stephanie here says, reason I bought a new build is the price were better and the new builders were far better to deal with than resellers, plus lower interest rates. So we can dissect this a little bit. When you think about it, new builds have a price that's lower per square foot than resale, which makes sense. Their lots are smaller. They're building a smaller footprint right now as far as a square foot per house. But they don't have a yard yet. They don't have a pool. You don't have a lot of the sometimes window coverings and things that you need to add later that can add up. But they're making up for that by offering incentives. I've seen them offer as much as $50,000 here. And they're offering a rate buy down. Some people are getting in for 4.9% versus right now 6.89%. So they're offering all these incentives. At the end of the day, when you roll it up, the MLS is only going to capture the sales price for the new build. So they're going to say you bought it for $550,000. However, they gave you $40,000 in incentives. You use some of that for fixing up the inside or perhaps getting landscaping. But then later on, if you want to put in a pool, about 75 to 100K, that's not going to show up in the MLS. So looking at resale homes and what they offer and new homes, what they offer, you may see a big difference. But price-wise, initially going in, new sales right now are offering some pretty good bargains. Good morning. Call me Mr. T. And So it's true that we're seeing a lot of that. Now, it's also true that the resale market right now is stuck. I pulled up a graph on Thursday that showed when you look at asking prices for homes in the valley here under $1 million. You remember me sharing a chart that shows asking price per square foot went up and then it went down. Well, when you take out above $1 million, it's flat. Now, what that tells me is people are listing their homes not because they need to, but well, let's see. Let's put it out there. If we get our asking price, so be it. If we don't, stay put. And we can see that in canceleds and expireds. They're running about average, but we're not seeing a whole lot of listings hitting the market. In fact, you can see here that they're just flat on a pancake, just like the asking prices. New listings, they're not going up or down. They're just kind of sitting there. And I kind of thought we'd see listings drift down just because seasonally we usually do in the summertime, but they're staying right there. And you can see on the chart below on the ticker that we're looking at. I'm going to see if I can read this for you here. We've got 18,052 listings, which is about where Mondays have been for the past 6 weeks. New listings are 2,757. So I took new listings and back on market, and then I pulled out canceled listings and expired. So I get a net number for new listings. And we had 2628 go under contract. That number is actually up a little bit by about 400 units, but that's still a difference of almost 200 units. So those 200 go into the active listing count, which is 18,052 this week. So that shows you why inventory is climbing. It's not climbing because we're getting a whole bunch of new listings. It's just climbing because they're not being pulled off the market by selling them. Stephanie says plus 10K in closing costs compared to resellers who told me to go and eat a banana. The average contribution by resale right now is about $9,400. But that's the average. Some are telling you to go eat a banana and some are not. They're contributing. Those that want to sell, that need to sell, are ponying up and helping buyers. But the market is slowing. If we look at our Cromford Market Index here, it continues to go down just very, very slowly. But point being, it's not going in the other direction. It's certainly not climbing up. If we look at our average price per square foot, this one is a long story. And what they're saying here on the Cromford report, the green line is the actual average price per square foot. As you can see, it went up considerably right here. But then they take into consideration inflation and the value of the dollar. What can you get now versus you could if we had no inflation? Taking that into consideration, the actual price of homes per square foot has not climbed as much as it says up here. In other words, you're getting hit really hard with inflation, which is inflated. You're buying the same house with a lower value dollar. So that is the real price per square foot. If you erase that component, the numbers are not that bad. Right now, you see a lot of people saying we're way above. Let me move this thing if I can. We're way above our 2006 levels, but yet when you remove inflation, we're really not. It's really not that doom and gloom, but it is what it is. I mean, a payment's a payment, right? So we can also draw some other interesting conclusions. They say here, home prices in real terms were below January 2001 levels throughout the period from 08 to 15. That was 7 years in which you could pick up a bargain. Home prices in real terms are still significantly lower today than at the peak of May 2022. Home prices in real terms to those at the late stages of the bubble, the first half of 2006, home prices are similar to those at the end of 2021. The two big boom periods were quite short, 2004 to 2005, 20 to 22. The one big bust period was also short, 2007 to 2009. So they're saying these two booms were quite different in nature, since the first was followed by a long period, almost 5 years, with huge excess of inventory for sale, which the second was followed by a period in which inventory remained normal. This is why we have two booms and only one bust. Little interesting take on the price of homes in relationship to your payment and affordability and the ever so shrinking dollar due to inflation. So, but what does that really mean to you? I mean, like I said, the payment is the payment. So to me, it's okay. I get it. Without inflation, home prices are not escalating as high as it seems when looking at the chart. Does that mean I can go out and get a better deal? No, it doesn't. The other thing, this one's interesting. And if you're listing your house, one of the common things that happen, somebody comes and looks at your house and you call your agent and say, reach out and get some feedback. I want to know what they think. Some buyers are very diligent about this, or sometimes even militant. I had one seller that, did I say buyer? One seller that just insisted that I call them within 10 minutes after they left the house. And I said, look, they're probably looking at 4 more houses today. Let's let them compare everything because I know what they're going to say. Oh, we thought it was okay, but we're looking at 5 more homes. Oh, no, I want you to call them back right now and find out. And so I'm working for the seller, so I would. And guess what they said? Well, we're still out looking. We'll get back to you later. And so, don't be in a big rush. But there's another thing that buyer agents need to consider, and that is this. Should you give showing feedback? It can be a valuable tool for sellers, but buyer agents have good reason to limit what they say. And here's why. When listing agent asks you for feedback after showing a property to buyer client, choose your words carefully. Listing agents understandably want to share buyers' impressions with the sellers, particularly when a home is slow to sell. But revealing your client's thoughts about the home features or price, or their intention to submit an offer, could compromise the buyer's negotiating position. Why did you tell them I liked the house? Why did you tell them I'm probably going to write an offer? Now, if I write an offer that's low, they're not going to accept it because they know I like the house. It's legitimate. Agents have been sued for this. Agents have also been sued because they say, well, you know what? They thought the house was in pretty bad shape. It's a slippery slope. You have to be careful. If you have a buyer client mulling over whether to make an offer, it may be wise to keep your feedback to the listing agent short and non-specific. If I were to state that my client thought the property price was great, then the seller would know you're most likely counter us in the negotiation. It says, I've done that exact thing as a listing agent. Kirby recently sold a home for his seller's asking price after receiving feedback that the buyer thought the house was perfect. Well, great. Knowing the buyer's stance helped his seller write a counteroffer, excluding closing costs and denying half the repairs the seller requested. The buyer accepted the counteroffer. So if you're listed your house, be careful in how hard you push your listing agent to gather feedback. It's nice to get feedback. I get it. Buyer's agents, you showed the home, be careful because you can get sued. And it has happened. Now, this market that's changing, in just a couple of weeks, we're required to have a buyer broker agreement. Everybody's saying, well, sellers don't have to offer a buyer broker compensation anymore. They never did. Newsflash. It's kind of been a practice that helped sell your home. So now there's just going to be a very confusing summer. And what we're also seeing now is some websites spring up to help you sell your house on your own. And this one I saw over the weekend. Navigator is your co-pilot for home buying. And so you can list your house on this website. And right now it's in beta. So they're saying if you want to send in an offer, you can upload your pre-qualification letter, get pre-qualified through our lender partners, and then you can get tailored guidance. You can open banking, schedule viewings, run a title check. Don't take our word for it. See how you can save 3% on agent fees. Get notified when we launch. Here's the deal with these kind of websites. And you're going to list your home on there. It's only going to be on one website. It's not going to feed into the multiple listing service. You've listed your home on one site. How many people see it? 9 versus 90,000. So if you're looking to list your home and you want to do a for sale by owner thing, make sure if you are posting it on a site, try to understand the exposure, the traffic, how many people are really looking at it. Because in the end, a lot of people who do that end up getting a lower price simply due to the fact there weren't enough eyeballs on your property. And so these are going to start popping up like crazy now. So are flat fee agents. I'll list your home for $2,500. So it's going to be an ever so changing market as we go through the summer. And I don't know how it's going to shake out. They're still suing us. There was lost this big lawsuit that the NAR lost, Stitzer, Burnett, and now what's it? For some reason I want to say Department of Defense, and I don't. Anyway, we're being sued by the federal government, and I don't get it. They're saying, well, we don't want sellers to pay any commissions for buyers agents, and we don't want we want buyers agents to pay their own, and we think this is best for both sellers and buyers. Well, you didn't just help the buyer by telling them that the seller can't offer them anything. And I like to look at that commission that's offered as your lost dog. You lost your dog. Are you going to offer a reward? $5. Well, how many people are going to get in their car and go look for your dog? $1,000. Everybody's in their car looking for your dog. Thanks, Stephanie. And that's kind of how I view offering a commission for buyer's agents. They're going to make it a mess, and it's going to be a long and messy year. So we'll see how that. It's Department of Justice is what I meant to say. So we're going to see how that shakes out. For a lot of things that I'm seeing now, people listing their homes, they're really not changing anything. We're just not allowed to put that commission on the MLS that's being offered. It's called a buyer broker agreement, or the buyer broker offer. So it says there in the MLS here, they're offering you 2.5%. We can't put that in there. You can tell me. So now when I look, I have to have an agreement with my buyer that says, okay, if the seller is not offering a commission for me, are you willing to pay it? And if they say no, okay, well, would you like to see any homes that are not offering a buyer commission? Yes. Okay. So in the agreement, it'll say if one comes up and they're not offering me a commission, then you're on your own. You're going to go look and negotiate simply with the listing agent, because I'm not going to do it for free. But here's the kicker. I don't know. You're going to give me a list of 5 houses you want to see. I got to call every one of those agents. Are you offering a buyer broke? Great. Okay. How much? Okay, cool. You hang up the phone. You don't have anything in writing yet. So you got to get something from them in writing before you write that offer, because they can go, oh, did I tell you it was 2%? I'm sorry. I meant it was 1%. Or no, actually, I'm not paying it. See how messy this can get? So you've got to really cross your T's and dot your I's. Are there any new homes without an HOA? Not very many, unfortunately. I did sell one down in Queen Creek this year that was kind of in an unincorporated area, Queen Creek, with no HOA, but it is rare. You kind of have to dig around and see what you can find. And HOAs are the thing. They like to collect so they can, take care of the common area properties there. There is some, I'll see if I can find it here on my website, not my website, but you can search for new homes here. I can put this link in the chat as well. And you can tool around, see if you can find new homes. Here it comes, folks. And see if you can find one. I think you could filter it and say no HOAs, but I haven't driven around it that much to see. So my short answer is no, not really. And I know people don't like HOAs, and some of them are really obtrusive, and some are, quite frankly, harmless little fuzzballs. So I hope that helps. Hey, if you have any questions, shoot me an email, rick@rickhelps.com. I hope everybody has a great Monday. If you are a political wonk and you like following all this stuff, holy cow, what's going to happen this week and next month? And especially August, when the DNC meets for their convention. Wild ride on both sides. Everybody have a great day. Take on the rest of the week. Take care.